Everyone, welcome back to another one of our monthly market deep dives. In fact, we are in July of 2024 right now. And normally we would take you through all the Arizona real estate numbers and statistics, looking back at what happened in June and what we expect going on into July. But I thought we'd do a special edition today based on the fact that we are in an election year. We get a lot of questions in an election year about how is this going to affect real estate? What's going on in the marketplace? And a lot of people use a lot of misinformation to make decisions about real estate in an election year. So this video, we're going to do a deep dive on what has happened historically and what we expect to happen this year. Stay tuned to the end. We've got a lot of really great and important information for you. Hey everyone, I'm Katie Evans, owner and lead agent of the Living 48 real estate team. Welcome back to our monthly market deep dive. Like I said in the intro, we are going to be talking about election years and how that affects our real estate market, both here in Arizona and around the nation. So let me do a quick screen share because I have got some fantastic slides for you that I want to review with you. So let's make sure you are looking at the right things. I think you are. Okay. So let's have a look at this really quick. The question comes up quite frequently in an election year. How's this going to affect the real estate market? So that is what our conversation is going to be about today. Now, Al Lord, who is the founder and CEO of Lexard Capital Management, had this to say about presidential election years. He said, presidential election years affect the nation's housing market and mortgage rates through three interrelated channels: uncertainty, policy expectations, and consumer confidence. So this is because consumers may choose to postpone major purchases or sales until they gain greater confidence in the country's direction. Who's going to win? What are their policies? What do we think they're going to do to the economy? What do we think they're going to do to real estate and housing and interest rates and all of those different kinds of things? People tend to put a little break on and say, I'm just going to wait and see. So that is one of the things that a lot of questions arise every single year when we go into an election year based on that. So let's look at some recent elections and economics uncertainty, sorry, I can talk today, uncertainty around those years. So we had back in 2008, our global financial crisis and recession. Boy, was that fun to live through. In 2012, we had our fiscal cliff, our major healthcare expansion review by the Supreme Court, and we were in the middle of the European debt crisis. That also was fun. 2016, we were in the Brexit referendum. 2020, we were right in the global pandemic. That was super fun too. And in 2024, going into this year, we are experiencing high inflation and global wars, all fun stuff to deal with. So Ali Wolf, who is the chief economist for Zonda, said usually home sales are unchanged compared to a non-election year, with the exception being November. In an election year, November is typically slower than normal. Why? Because we're all caught up in it and because we're just in that wait and see month. Now, if we look at this, we're going to look at the seasonal drop in sales. All right, now in a presidential election year, we tend to see that it is sharper than normal between October and November. In a non-presidential year, it usually drops, and this is seasonality, totally normal, usually drops about 9.8%. In an election year, it drops about 15%. All right, let's look at what happens the year after. Okay, so 2024, end of the year, we expect there's going to be a little drop off between October and November. But if we look ahead to 2025 in January, we're going to look at some historical trends here. Okay, so you guys can see that there were 2 years. So 2 out of the 11 last presidential election years that the home sales went down rather than up. All right. So if you look at all that, you can see 1980 was one of them that it went down, and 1988 was the other one that went down, those election years. All right. What does that mean? It means that an election year doesn't alter the price trend that already is happening in the market. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. So a lot of people keep saying, well, we're going to wait and see because if so-and-so wins the presidency, housing prices are going to drop through the floor. Historically, we're seeing that that is not true. And here is that slide that kind of shows that. In fact, it went up 7 out of the 8 last presidential cycles. You can see that it keeps going up and keeps going up and keeps going up. So not only did the amount of sales go up, also did the home prices. All right. These are all really important things. So new home prices, if we're looking, the first slide was resale. This is new home build sales. Okay. So 10 of the last presidential elections, it went up. Guess which year it went down? You guessed it. 2008, 2009, right in the middle of our housing crisis and the economic meltdown and everything else that was happening. So that was the one that was unsurprising because it was all tied directly to housing and mortgage, that crisis. All right. Allie Wolf had this to say. She said, in December following an election and in the following year, the sales that are lost during that November, so you remember back on that slide where I showed you October, November, we had that big drop. Those are actually recovered. It isn't that consumers say, I'm nervous and I never want to buy anything. They say, I'm nervous, so let's just wait and see how things play out. And then we see the following year, beginning of following year, those sales come back into the marketplace and we pick up with even more than normal. So we also want to look at mortgage rates. Now, mortgage rates have decreased leading up to 8 of the last 11 presidential cycles. So you can see in 1980, they did not decrease. In 1992, they did not decrease. And in 2016, they did not decrease. What's going to happen this year? I don't know. We've been all over the board with our interest rates. However, historically, they do go down right before an election. All of the candidates are trying to make it look good for them. So that is one thing that we want to bring to your attention here is that typically those mortgage rates decrease. All right. This is a sad fact, but I do want to bring this out. Bankrate had this to say about the decisions that people make around waiting or not waiting in a presidential election year. For most Americans, election results will have little direct effect on their income and therefore should not significantly impact their decision to buy or sell a home. All right, that is Bankrate saying that. So how do presidential elections affect our housing market? So like we talked about before, sales activity typically slows come October, November, but then starting in December, we see a recovery into the following year. So the sales that we slowed down for or quote unquote lost normally more than make themselves up in the following months after the election is done. Home prices typically are going to continue to increase the year after the election. So waiting because you think it's going to drop, not a thing. And mortgage rates typically decrease leading up to an election. So if you're waiting to see if they fall further after an election, you probably missed your best shot right before it. All right, you guys, that is what I have to share with you in this video today. Hope you got some great information. As always, here's my summary. All right. Don't wait. Some of the best deals are found when everybody else is saying, we're just going to wait and see. The people who make the most money, make the best deals, make all of that are the ones that zig while everybody else is zagging. So that's historically what happens in an election year. As always, we are here to be a guide and a resource for you. So if you have any additional questions or want some guidance and help on maybe your sell or your purchase during an election cycle, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We would love to chat with you about that and help get you all of the correct information rather than what you're hearing out in the marketplace right now. So thanks again, you guys, for watching this video. As always, please give us a like, give us a thumbs up, put something in the comments, and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching this there. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram if you're catching us there. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on our next video.